So in this video, I will be talking about the other films that I watched in December 2020. I'm currently subscribed to the Criterion channel, so all of the movies that I watched are from there and therefore are from different eras and different countries from around the world. In December, I finished the first two seasons of the TV show Twin Peaks by David Lynch. After the first two seasons were released, they created a prequel movie called Twin Peaks Fire Walk with Me, and that's what I watched. I'm a big fan of the TV show, and therefore I really enjoyed the movie as well. In the movie, you see some of the events that took place before and of the night of the murder. So yeah, that was really cool just to get to see more of the town and more of these mysterious things that went on. I only recommend to watch this movie if you have seen the first two seasons of Twin Peaks. Otherwise, it wouldn't really make sense to watch this movie. Since I'm very interested in the Criterion Collection and its streaming service, I've been hearing a lot about the Japanese horror movie House from 1977. So yeah, going into it, I was really excited to watch it, but yeah, I was kind of disappointed by it. Sadly, I just didn't get why people love this movie so much. I must say what I really liked about it was just the Japanese influence it had on the story and the editing. Yeah, you'll definitely know what I'm talking about if you see the movie. But yeah, I just didn't like it that much. I must say though that the movie cover looks really cool and is very intriguing. Next, my dad introduced me to the film Night on Earth by Jim Jarmusch. It tells 5 separate stories in 5 different cities around the world, and the only thing that these 5 stories have in common is that they all take place at the exact same time and that they play out in a taxi. The cities that they take place in are the following. It's LA, New York, Paris, Rome, and Helsinki. So you'll be hearing 4 different languages throughout this film. Each story is very unique and has a different feeling to it. Some are more happy and inspiring, and some of the others are more sad and just lonely. But yeah, all of them are really great. The one that stood out the most to me was the Italian one in Rome with the legendary actor Roberto Benigni. Paris, Texas is a film by German director Wim Wenders, and I've been hearing a lot about it, and I finally got to watch it. The movie was visually very beautiful and used lighting in a very unique way. You saw some really just wonderful colors throughout the film, and it also did a great job of depicting loneliness and yeah, making the audience feel the same. I find that Harry Dean Stanton's performance is very underrated. I'm aware that he doesn't talk much during the movie, but he plays such an important role in setting the mood for the entire film. And yeah, just it makes us curious to learn more about him and his character. I continue with another classic film from the French New Wave. It's called Vivre Sa Vie by Jean-Luc Godard. And it tells the story of a woman with, the film is broken down into 12 moments of part of her life and her downfall to prostitution. Many of these French filmmakers did such a great job of creating a beautiful and exciting atmosphere, and I feel that is really necessary because if they didn't create those atmospheres, audience members, a lot of them at least, would easily get bored because many movies from that era are so dialogue heavy. I can't say if I like this one better than Breathless, another masterpiece by Jean-Luc Godard, but yeah, I definitely love both and I'm excited to check out more of his films. Platoon is a Vietnam War movie that won Best Picture at the Academy Awards in 1987, and the following quote sums it up perfectly. I think now, looking back, we did not fight the enemy. We fought ourselves, and the enemy was in us. I really like the message of this movie, but other than that, I just wasn't a big fan of it, and I feel that there are much better war movies and more meaningful out there. It has been some years since I first watched Fight Club, and now I thought it was time to rewatch it again. It's one of David Fincher's many masterpieces, and I really haven't seen anything like it. The story and the message of the movie I find very unique, and there are a lot of memorable quotes in there as well. A lot is mentioned in this movie about how we think and act as a society, and it puts a lot of those things into questioning. Both Edward Norton and Brad Pitt deliver one of their best performances of their careers, and yeah, they just really bring so much energy to the film. And I really like how it depicts one more being a beta male and the other being more of the alpha male. Fight Club is one of those movies that I think should be seen by a lot of people, not only because it's a great movie, but also there's just a lot you can learn from it about yourself, about our society, about life. Yeah, give it a watch. Since I own most of David Lynch's movies now, I decided to watch his debut film, Eraserhead. Like many of his other films, there's a lot left for interpretation and trying to understand it. I do like that, but I must say I was a bit confused after I watched it, and that's how a lot of people who see this movie for the first time feel like. I will definitely need to give this movie a second watch in order to understand it better and also be able to interpret some of the messages in there. When I was reading up about this movie, I found out that it is a classic for midnight screenings because it takes place in like a nightmarish setting, and it has gotten a big cult following, so I really hope to catch a midnight screening of that one day. I don't know why, but I keep on thinking that Stranger Than Paradise is a film from the French New Wave. It's an American movie from 1984 by Jim Jarmusch. It plays in the US, but I think the story is very similar to something that Jean-Luc Godard or François Truffaut would tell. I think that's why I kind of connect the two. A girl from Hungary is visiting her cousin in New York, and there she gets to meet a friend of his. And so after you see these three characters just kind of hanging out, talking, and traveling to Cleveland and Florida. Since it was well written and the actors did a great job of playing their roles, I thought this movie was very entertaining and I didn't feel bored or anything like that. The last movie that I watched in December was the debut film by Christopher Nolan called Following. Although it was his first feature film, he was already playing around with the story format. He told the story in a non-linear order, so you had time jumps to previous conversations and events, just like in many of his movies nowadays. I thought this was an excellent start to his career, and it's really cool to see how Nolan has developed as a filmmaker and director. So those were the movies that I watched in the last month of 2020. Now let's get into the two recommendations that I have for y'all. My first recommendation goes to Night on Earth. As mentioned before, it tells 5 different stories in 5 different places. You can watch this movie in a single seating just like I did, or you can also watch one movie after each other. I do recommend though to watch them all at once, because in between the stories you will see how they are all connected to each other. And the other recommendation from last month goes to Fight Club. Like I said, I find this movie very unique, not only the story that it tells, but how and why that it's told. The movie also does a great job of breaking the fourth wall in some of the scenes, and yeah, just creates a very exciting atmosphere to watch this movie. This was the second part to the movies that I watched in December 2020. If y'all haven't seen the first part yet, I will leave the link in the description below so y'all can go check it out. If y'all have seen any of these films, let me know which ones and how y'all like them. And until next month.